Hi. So today I'm going to be discussing the rabbit syllable division. And when you get to this point, you really can start moving your students from one syllable land up to two syllable land. However, you have to make sure that there are some things that they know prior to launching into this. So they definitely have to know what are their vowels versus their consonants. And you may have them, when they write their alphabet each day, highlight each of the vowels just to get that A-E-I-O-U down pat. All of the rest of them are consonants, not continents, right? They need to know that term, but you should also have had them practicing syllables and be familiar with that term. They definitely need to know what is an open versus what is a closed syllable, right? And whether that vowel is going to say its name or its sound. Now, there's not going to be a trace copy cover for this because you're not going to be able to go VCCV. You also don't want your students to think that rabbit words are just the letters V and C. So let's take a look at, first of all, you can definitely have a picture or some three-dimensional object that is a rabbit to make it memorable for your students. And there are a variety of ways to get them started with dividing these words into syllables. I typically have them pop their vowels, then I have them spot and dot. Are there two consonants between those two vowels? Yes, there are. So let's scoop, and we're going to read one syllable at a time. Napkin. Great. Now put it together. What do you have? Napkin. You can have your students do this. You can have them go vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, split between. I just find that to be a lot visually, and I find that it's a lot for my students to have to keep labeling everything. I find that this strategy of popping the vowels is the most simplistic. So I start by doing that, and we do lots of different words, all different vowels, right? Two consonants, two vowels, spot and dot, scoop, read one syllable at a time, and you have goblin. Now, it does not need to be the exact same consonant. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. So if we look at this word and I pop my vowels and I spot and dot and I scoop, I get kitten. As time goes on and they get better and they don't need this much support, I have them to start doing something like this. Find your vowels. Okay, let's take this little coffee stir, and where are you going to split it? Okay, read me the first syllable, up, the next syllable, set. Great, put it together, upset. Ultimately, yes, they need to be able to look at this word and say catnip, catnip, or even better, just read the word nutmeg, right? But you may have to build in some of these scaffolded pieces first with a lot of this popping the vowels. It's why you have to know what's a vowel versus a consonant. Now, these words can get more complicated depending upon what you have taught your students. So look at this word. If I spot and dot, yes, it's two consonants between two vowels. It just so happens that this first syllable has to be an R controlled. It doesn't matter. It's still Carmen, Carmen, right? Just like if this was a student's name in my class, I would do the exact same thing. Jordan, Jordan, right? Two consonants between two vowels. Now, there can be a blend at the beginning. These words can get more complicated. So I want to show you how you can work on those as well, and how this rule is definitely going to take you days to get through all of the intricate pieces of it. You're going to start off by doing I do, just like we have practiced in lessons where you talk your way through it, maybe one or two words. Then you do the we do, where you guide your student and ask them which part comes next. Okay, now that you've popped your vowels, where are you going to spot and dot? And then you do, right? Where I do, we do, you do. Now that you have the skill, you should be able to do this on your own. Just like in an Orton-Gillingham lesson plan where we work from the most simplistic to the most complex, we're going to start with words, and then we're going to add in phrases and sentences. And this is for both reading and for spelling. So you can start with at, the, and if they need to pop their vowels, spot and dot, sunset, sunset. Great. Now reread the whole thing with like you're speaking at the sunset. Great. Let's try this next one. When they get to sentences, this is probably going to be choppy at first. They may want to spot and dot and scoop these rabbit words. Maybe you only want to have one rabbit word per sentence. I decided to put in two because maybe I have a more advanced student. But then you can go back and get them to scoop. Who or what, the magnet, and what is it doing? It is flipping. Okay, let's read that sentence. The magnet is flipping. Great. Now read me the whole thing. The magnet is flipping. And you see how you can also do who, I, what about you? I was upset, okay, when I lost, and what did you lose? My shamrock. Okay, now read the whole thing. I was upset when I lost my shamrock. So words, phrases, and sentences. If we look at spelling, you may want to do this. You may want to start by having them spell one syllable at a time. Here's the word. It is sunset. What's the word? Your students say sunset. Great. What's the first syllable? Sun. Some of your students are going to have to go s, n, and then write each of the letters. What's your second syllable? Set, s, t. Fantastic. Read me the whole word. Sunset. Some of you are going to prefer to do this for your students. Write the first syllable, write the second syllable, and then I want you to write the entire word in that last column so that they can see it together. When you're thinking about scaffolding for your students, day one, you're going to try to keep it really pure. Look at lap, top, cat, nip. All right, those are just two consonants, two vowels. Both of them are closed syllables. Look at the next day, you might do something like, you did such a great job with rabbit words yesterday. Today I'm going to teach you ER says at the end of rabbit words. And you will open up a lot of words for them to be able to read and spell, like winter lumber. Day three, you did such a great job with that. Today, I'm going to put digraphs and blends in those rabbit words. And maybe it has an end blend like dentist. Maybe it has a beginning blend like slender and an ER, since they know all of those concepts. Day four, this is definitely more challenging. Muffin, hammer, they have the exact same consonants in the middle, and it's a little difficult, almost impossible to hear when there is a double letter in English in the middle of a word. So what I typically will do is if they spell muffin, M-U-F-I-N, I will say good thinking, but that actually says mu-fin. You need to close in that first consonant. How do you spell muff? You see how the next day you can do rabbits with three consonants in the middle? You see words like ostrich and panther, where the digraph or the blend is going to stick together. Probably at this point, your students know rabbit words and they know CK says k right after a short vowel. That's true in one syllable words or in at the end of the first syllable. Well, this, if you hear ick at the end of two syllables or more, ick is always spelled IC. So there are a lot of those traffic, frantic kind of words with that ick, and I don't want you to spell it with a CK. You see how even on lesson 7 of rabbits, you can start doing double rabbits. They have to make two hops, like Atlantic or Wisconsin. And if you've taught things that have ER or you've taught digraphs already, you see how then you'd be able to give them a word, something like membership, right? And all that you're doing is I would go back to looking at where are my vowels? Okay, well, I have three of them and none of them are together, which means I'm going to have three syllables. If we spot and dot, mem. And then we've got three consonants. You should know this SH sticks together. So we're going to go burr, and I've already taught you this ER. So membership, membership. So I hope that you find that helpful. Certainly reach out if you have questions.